to get one maybe?
No, sorry, I'm working on that. It's not usually broken, so
Okay.
but I'm working on it.
He's working on this, Declan.
Okay.
That's good.
Most of you guys have them. So thank you guys. And Vincent, I know is gonna fix his. Thomas, I saw yours was on. Okay. Okay, coach.
Yep.
Are you recording this?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So thanks for joining us. I guess we were supposed to be on the field now, but as you know, we have to adapt. We are trying to have this online session Tuesday and Thursday. What we want to do with Coach Cal is to have like a little bit of tactic, because we are talking a lot before, during the game, during the training session about tactic and everything, but we never have the time. We never had the time to really take the I will say take 30 minutes or even 1 hour to discuss about what we want to do during this season and the upcoming season for the summer and et cetera. So I mean, we have to adapt. So I think it's a good moment, a good momentum now to talk a little bit more about what we want to do. We have some video that we took from some web page. I took some screenshots about some games that we had, what we did great. So I really want to discuss with you. And again, like I mentioned at the beginning, this is really like a brainstorming session. I don't want to talk for 2 hours with, it will not take 2 hours, but I don't want just to do like a monologue with Cal and at the end, it's just like goodbye. I really want you to ask questions, give us some feedback, and really we exchange about it. And Thursday, we will have a session we will have a fitness session Thursday, and we will try to have like Tuesday and Thursday fitness session, and maybe at the end of each session, maybe we will take like 15-20 minutes about a tactic aspect of the game. So that's really what we want to do. Why we have a red cross? Let me see. Let me just do this. We have this, I don't know, but it stays there. Okay, well, no surprise. That's not photoshopped. Okay, that's me and Coach Cal. It's really a picture I took yesterday. So welcome back online. So as I mentioned, we will try to do like 30-minute fitness starting Thursday night, 15 minutes football talks Thursday night starting this Thursday. Today, I want to discuss a little bit more about the 4-3-3. That's really what we want to do now. We will work on two tactics, 4-3-3 and 3-5-2. We will work at this moment about these two tactics. Tonight, we focus on the 4-3-3, the pressing style. I will show you some scenario that we had during some games. I think I took 3 screenshots, 3 videos, 2 the game against White Sharks and 1 against Whitby, the one that I missed. And conclusion, where we'll talk about what will happen in the upcoming weeks. Just another reminder, at this moment, the season is canceled for January. And I saw an email, Coach, that the games, they are canceled to until January 26, correct?
I think yeah, I mean, the shutdown is to the 26th, guys. We might be playing our game against Pickering at the last day of the 29th. I doubt it, but, right now everything's closed for 21 days starting tomorrow. So,
yeah. So that's the reason why we really want it. As soon as we had this, we saw this announcement from the Prime Minister of Ontario, we said, you know what, let's do something online, especially for the fitness, because it will be crucial when we are back on the field. We have to make sure that we are really in shape, because you already missed some months, even years, maybe with COVID. Now we are back, like we stopped like 2 or 3 weeks ago. So it's like we will all miss like almost 2 months without any training, any specific training, any session. So it will be good Thursday, but if you have the availability, continue to do some fitness. You don't have to go outside to run. You can just at home do some like exercise. You go to YouTube, you put like a fitness exercise, 20 minutes, 25, 30 minutes, it should be enough. But try to do something, even if it's just 1 time per week, but do something. Because if we are back end of January and you are like, you didn't do any exercise, I'm telling you, first, you will be you will have a lot of difficulty to be back, and secondly, you can be injured. That's another topic that it's really, really important for you guys to make sure that when you are back on track, hopefully end of January, you are almost in shape, I will say. So as I mentioned, tonight we'll talk about the 4-3-3, the pressing style, and I will show you some. We will start with the first video. The two videos that I will show you, you already saw them normally, but now that we have time, we don't have like a game in a few days or training. I just want to take time. I will stop the video during I will stop the footage on some parts. Don't hesitate. If you have a question, just raise your hand or just write it down on the chat if you don't have the microphone. But please, at the end of the video, let's talk a little bit about this. And I really want to have your feedback about this video, okay?
The 4-3-3 formation has become the formation of choice for many of the top sides in European football, with its modern adaptation best attributed to Rinus Michels and the total football of his Dutch national teams of the early 1970s. A formation often deployed by former Ajax and Barcelona manager Johan Cruyff, it became perhaps most famous during Pep Guardiola's magnificent tenure at Barcelona, and has also been one of his preferred setups during his time at Manchester City. Another beneficiary of the 4-3-3 is Liverpool's Jurgen Klopp, who have also seen great success while utilising this structure, although with a different style of play. Not to be limited to club football, the 4-3-3 has also left its mark on the international scene, with successful national teams such as 2010 World Cup winners Spain and the recent European champions Italy also choosing to implement the formation. It's typically seen as an attacking formation and often used by coaches who look to dominate the ball. But while it has strengths, there are also weaknesses too. The 4-3-3 is the formation most associated with positional play, with one deep-lying midfielder, two attacking midfielders, two wingers and a striker to go along with the back four, occupying the 5 vertical channels synonymous with positional play occurs seamlessly throughout the attacking phases. It also helps in the creation of natural triangles.
Didn't want to stop it. I don't know why it stopped, but I just wanted to stop where he's talking about the triangle, because you know we are always talking with coach and a lot of exercise we are doing during the training session, and even during a game I'm always telling you like play in triangle. And as you can see on the 4-3-3, you can really see how is it working. The only thing that I will add on this, it's the goalkeeper, because we don't have to forget the goalkeeper. And something I really liked at the last game against Whitby and Kevin on this report told me is that, and I saw it on the video, is that you really try to build it from the back. With the goalkeeper, I saw many times when we had a goal kick or everything with Jad, you always, Anthony, I remember on the left side, for example, he has the ball and we had some activity. So it's really good. But as you can see, this is really important. You can see how is it working with the triangle. So keep in mind always to have this type of, not of shape, but always try to play with two others, you know, like the triangle, as you can see, it's really like with somebody else next to you. So that's the type of shape that we want to have. And of course, it's always mobility. It's not just the 4 and the 3 at the middle. They have to move. It's really compact. It's really everybody has to move the same way or the same, I will say, the same side. It's not just one side, okay? Any question on this, or I continue the video at this moment? Question, team? Just let me know, yes, no.
No, let's roll.
No? Okay.
Always offering the ball carrier a simpler passing option. When a triangle is created among 3 players, the player in possession will in theory have a minimum of 2 short passing options, making it easier to retain possession of the ball. It also offers a side simple solutions for positional rotations. For example, the fullback overlaps. The winger tucks inside, and the ball-sided attacking midfielder can then cover the run of the fullback by dropping out wide. Another very common rotation in the 4-3-3 is when the deep-lying midfielder drops down between the central defenders, creating a back three and allowing both fullbacks freedom to push forwards into the attack. In a 4-3-3, the ability to play with three central midfielders is one of its greatest strengths, and is also one of the main reasons behind its popularity. While a classic 4-4-2 offers only two players in central midfield, the 4-3-3 allows for an extra player in the middle of the park, and has the potential to create numerical advantages in central areas against opposition sides only using two central midfielders. And the fluidity of the 4-3-3 also offers tactical flexibility when out of possession. Whether defending in a 4-3-3 shape or dropping the wingers to create a 4-5-1, both options offer different problems for the opposition to solve. A team maintaining the 4-3-3 shape with the wingers in the same line as the striker requires its wingers to play extremely narrowly. This helps to keep the team shape compact and to avoid the opposition being able to play line-breaking passes through the middle. When the wingers drop into the midfield line to create a more conservative 4-5-1 block, the team will often defend from a deep position on the field, applying less pressure higher up the pitch. While the 4-3-3 offers a good starting point for dominating the ball and recovering possession quickly through counter-pressing, some of the strengths of the system may also be some of the perceived weaknesses. Though having an attacking line of three players is useful to overwhelm the opposition when in possession, any lack of defensive discipline from the front three can quickly be taken advantage of. Whether defending in a block or transitioning to defence from attack, the ability of the front three to recover and get back into shape is vital. Interestingly enough, employing a front three compared to a front two may sometimes make the formation less of an attacking threat in the final third. In these scenarios, the striker may become isolated if both wingers stay wide or if neither of the attacking midfielders push forwards and make a late run into the box. So while the fluidity of the shape in possession can make it difficult for the opposition to defend and control dangerous spaces, it also increases the complexity of decision making and positioning for the central midfielders. Both attacking midfielders in the 4-3-3 will often find themselves in situations where they must quickly make decisions on whether to push forwards and join the attack or remain deeper to offer balance to the side. Playing with a single pivot player also increases the demand for discipline and positioning for that defensive midfielder, as they will have more spaces to cover to protect the back line. There is no question that the dominant Barcelona sides under Pep Guardiola have increased the interest surrounding the 4-3-3. And infatuation with the system has only increased since his arrival in the Premier League with Manchester City. Many coaches, all the way from the top level down to the youth levels, have tried to imitate this playing style by implementing the system with their own sides and the various principles associated with it. The 4-3-3 is one of the most modern setups in football, often used with a determination to dominate possession of the ball and recover possession as quickly as possible. A system with complex relationships which can be very difficult to get just right, but when an understanding of roles is properly achieved, it can be devastating. If you like this video...
Okay, before we start with Coach Cal, any feedback on this? Any thought of on the video? Any word that is like really strike to you and you say like, oh yeah, that's something that we did or we have to do in the future?
Hey, who doesn't like the 4-3-3 and is a big fan of the 3-5-2 instead, for instance? Anybody out there?
Guys, it's not just me and Coach Cal. I'm telling you, you have to just let us know, but you have to it's a brainstorming session.
Yeah, I feel like it's harder for us. Like we don't know how to like our offense. I feel like it's like a little better than our defense, as in like we're better at like building from the back. I feel like our attacking third, like it said in the video that like they play close to the striker, like the two wingers.
Yeah.
To like help, and then I feel like yeah, we should do that more because it's kind of hard to defend. Like if we don't do that and we keep the wingers like there.
Yeah, good feedback, Shoma. Anybody else?
Yeah, I would agree with that as well. But the one thing I would say is I think how we pointed out that the striker often gets lost in the attacking half. How I think that happens to us as well. Like maybe our wingers are too wide and we're not supporting our striker. Because I feel like often it seems like the striker gets the ball and he's in a sea of the opposing team with no help, and then we just lose it and we can never get anything going in the attacking half.
Yeah,
So
that's
that's
a good
something I would
feedback.
say as well. We need to work on that.
Yeah, I
think
agree. It
that-
just feels like we're like undermanned in offense, like an offense that just feels like and like when we're on the attacking third of the field, when anytime anyone gets the ball, they're just swarmed and like there's no way they can pass anyone.
Yeah.
Yeah, like a midfield could make a run up with the striker with the wingers as well.
Yeah, good feedback.
Yeah, I
Anybody
feel
else?
like the decision making like needs to be better with the midfielders, because like there's 3 of us instead of 2, so we can really take advantage of that. And like yeah, like with the center attacking mids like joining in the offense, I feel like that would help. And just like better decision making.
I would like to have the feedback too from the strikers like Jack, Amir, Julian. What do you think?
I guess I'd agree with what Shovel was saying. I think that a lot of our like attacking opportunities come from like counterattacks, almost like capitalizing off their bad passes, whereas we should be able to do some damage by actually like pushing up with our midfielders instead of kind of just playing like hoping for them to make the mistake, rather us make them make a mistake.
Yeah. No, that's true.
Also, I want to add like a
yeah,
lot of
yeah.
the time, when we bring the ball up the pitch, like a lot of our team will just like stay back and like split off from the rest, but we need to like move up. Like when we have the ball up and it's our throw in, we need to like push up, or when it's theirs, like when it's a goal kick, or maybe not a goal kick, but like when they have it in their back, we need to push up and like pressure them. And it can't just be the striker that's pressing. The wingers need to help out too. The attacking mids can tuck in.
As well about the press, like the wingers and the striker can press on their D, but then everyone in the midfield also has to mark someone or at least be close to them, so that they have pressure in the back line and also have no options through the middle. That way we can win it in the middle more on defense. I feel like we often on defense lose the ball in the middle, like they get past us.
Yeah. Alex, Vincent, any feedback? McKinnon?
Like the biggest problem for us is that third like sector a bit, like that third offensive sector. It's like the transition play from defense to attack. And like it's most of them because we're just outnumbered. Like it's most of them like a 1 versus 2 or 3 players inside that zone. So I think like we need maybe more players on the attack. But at the same time, when we have too much player in the attack, like the defense is like empty. So like we need, I don't know, it's just more cardio, more running. Like.
Yeah.
What is that called when we have more players than them in an area of the field or the pitch? Do you guys know what that's called?
Counterattack?
Overload, something overload.
Yeah, overload. So we're trying to create overloads. That's just soccer tactic talk. And interestingly, I think what Vincent's getting at is the fullbacks, so the wing backs or the defense, the right and left backs, they are really, when we have possession, they're really offensive players, right? So that's important to keep in mind. Thomas Tuchel, the coach of Chelsea, actually considers his wing backs, so his right and left defense, attacking players, not really defensive players, right? So because they push forward, so they're going to try to create overloads, and that's big work for fitness for the fullbacks.
Yeah. Another thing, I think two key words that they are talking on the video, it's about discipline and to be narrowed, because I watched again today some of our games, and the counter pressing and the pressing part, we are doing it, but sometimes, and you mentioned some of you guys for the last game, for example, we were like, there wasn't a connection between the defense, midfielder, and strikers, and it was really big, the space. We were not narrowed, so when we had the ball, the other player of our team was like 10-15 meters from us. So if we miss the pass, it's down because the other team, the opponent is right in front of us. So we really need to have discipline and to be like close to each other. So in any case, we can play this type of triangle that we do. And the other thing, it's about communication, you know, especially when we are playing this, if we want to do like in the video, they are saying like the fullback can go, you know, on the offensive part, but they have to communicate with the midfielder, the number 6 and number 8 to do this. Because if one day we are like, oh yeah, let's go. So we have, for example, Lucas, Anthony, they want to overload and go up front. If we don't have, for example, Alex, Vincent, Jacob, or somebody else in the midfield, or for example, McKinnon or Declan, they go in the same time with them. It's like we just have like 2 central back that they are like alone. So we really need to work on the communication in the upcoming weeks and months, and we improve on it. It's going on the right way. Everything we are talking about it tonight, it's getting there. But like they are saying at the end of the video, it takes time to understand this. But the time at the moment we will really have, and we will be ready to play at 100% the 4-3-3. It will be devastated. So it will be perfect. Any other feedback before we go to the other video? That it's perfect because you talked a lot about pressing, counter pressing, and everything. That's another topic, another pillar that we are trying to do. So the next video talks about it, but I wanted to know if anybody else wanted to share something before we start the video or no?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think transition defense and the rotations we need to work on, because a lot of times we get outnumbered in like on the wings when they're counterattacking, and we often don't have enough support in the back. So when we're attacking, we have to work on the rotation of one of the midfielders or the central defensive midfielder, or coming back, the striker and the wingers playing together in the front and locking down the central passing lanes.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, we saw it on some videos, and maybe you saw it on the video I sent you for the last game we had. Sometimes we are stretched. We have like the offensive player on one side with some midfielder, and on the other side we have the defensive player with like maybe in the Jacob or Vincent or Declan or anybody else. And at the midfield we don't have anybody. And if the opponent has the ball, they don't have 5 seconds to think about it. They have 10-15 seconds. They can really they can take the ball and go until like 20-25 yards, and they can really like make an impact. So that's a really good feedback. Anybody else? No?
I have one.
Yeah, go Jad.
So from just like the last game, this was like the only one I
That's
ever
good
saw.
to know.
But like
Yeah.
the last game, what I noticed is that like since we're losing the ball like quite a bit on the midfield, what we can do is we can make the striker play a bit of a false nine, so he can kind of like drop back a bit and help the midfield out as more, so that we can have like more fluidity through the passing, and we can have more passing options.
I think that's what our goal was. Like we kept saying that word false nine, but I'm not totally sure if we actually know what that word means. So I think we should delve into that. Like we keep saying false nine, but we haven't really put it into action like successfully yet.
Yeah, we can at the end. I can show you the false nine, and maybe Julian, did Julian, Amir, or Jack, did you want to add something on this before we move on? Especially maybe Julian, because that's normally what we wanted to do at the last game.
I would add something. I feel like against our last game, I think what a lot of the time what's happening is our big attacks, and like last game we had 0 like scoring opportunities. Like you couldn't even, I don't think we had over 2 shots. And I think our big problem was they outnumbered us in the midfield, and we kind of just played defense the whole game. And when we had those opportunities, we were so conservative that we were playing like just the attacking 3 versus their like 8. So I think what we need to practice on is our midfield moving up, attacking. So and our whole team really playing.
Yeah. Julian, any feedback? I didn't hear you. Julian? He's still here. Julian?
I think he's gone. I don't know what happened to him. I see him, but I think maybe we might want to move on to the next one. But so guys, there's formation. So 4-3-3, 3-5-2, whatever. The next video is talking about a particular style of play. So it's a little different. There's formation, and then you can do pressing, which was the video is going to be about, in any formation, in 3-5-2, in 2-5-3, or whatever it is. Okay. So that's what Rod's going to show next.
Many of the world's top teams now employ a press. Pressing is when players put pressure on the player in possession, the player about to receive possession, or the ball, but with the express intention of regaining the ball. It's not passive like a block, it's an active movement, usually by several players at once, to squeeze space, deny options, and having won back the ball, either reset or immediately transition to an attack. And of course we know what pressing looks like, especially when enacted by its best exponents, the teams of Bielsa, Klopp, Guardiola, Nagelsmann. But how do teams know when to press? Any good pressing team does so as a team. While a single player might actively engage a press by chasing down a pass to a goalkeeper without the rest of the team taking up sensible positions, this is useless. If a team is too passive, the lone presser will just end up expending energy and worse, being pulled out of position. So the rest of the team need to move into positions that help that press. This of course means that rehearsal is key, as is communication between teammates. Pressing is hard. It's both physically and mentally demanding. That's why teams can take time to adjust to an intense pressing style, as was seen at Liverpool when Klopp arrived, or at Southampton under Ralph Hasenhüttl. And because of this, pressing needs to be structured and directed. Teams have got better at playing through or over the press as it's become more popular. And so the Dutch press of 1970s total football, which was far more helter-skelter and largely involved swarming forwards towards the ball, wouldn't work now. Teams who press therefore rely on two things: pressing traps and pressing triggers. Pressing triggers are opposition actions or game circumstances that inform a team's decision to begin the press. They will be determined in part by how well the pressing team are set up. If they don't have enough players nearby to engage a press, even if there's a trigger, then the team may decide to regain a better defensive position instead, rather than further disrupt their shape. Some of the most common pressing triggers arrive from the attacking team's errors. These include hitting a pass that's too hard, or when the ball is bouncing and therefore difficult to control. Bad passes and bad receptions are also good triggers. This could be where...
I just stop here because I wanted to mention that type of trigger. We did it on some games and we did it well. I remember one game, now different games. I remember Jack, even the summer, he was pressing, especially some goalkeeper. They don't have like a good quality with the foot. And I remember I always said, press the goalkeeper, because if a defender is giving the ball to him, he will not shoot right away, or we will shoot to another player that is 5 or 10 yards from him. And I remember we scored some goals on this situation. So that's just one aspect. And before we continue the video, they are talking about the pressing, that it's about as a team and it's about communication. And I watched on some of the game, 1 or 2 players from our team were doing the pressure. They were pressuring the goalkeeper, they were pressuring the defenders, but they were doing it alone, because the other team members, they were like waiting like 20, 15 yards behind it. So we had like the strikers that they are like doing like left, right, going until the goalkeeper is kicking. But if the other team, the other 2 zones, the other 2 walls, they are not like coming with them on the left side, it's useless. So it's really like to work as a team. And he's saying it's communication. That's another big pillar that is really important. So I will continue and put back the video. And we talk a little bit later.
That inform a team's decision to begin the press. They will be determined in part by how well the pressing team are set up. If they don't have enough players nearby to engage a press, even if there's a trigger, then the team may decide to regain a better defensive position instead, rather than further disrupt their shape. Some of the most common pressing triggers arrive from the attacking team's errors. These include hitting a pass that's too hard, or when the ball is bouncing and therefore difficult to control. Bad passes and bad receptions are also good triggers. This could be where a right-footed player is having to receive a pass on their left foot, or where a pass is into the space behind a player so they have to turn backwards to retrieve it. Or it could be where the player receiving the ball is looking down and therefore less aware of what's happening around them. Other pressing triggers are situational. Some intense gegenpressing teams will press immediately upon losing possession in the final third. Another common situational trigger is a pass into the fullback. This is because the byline effectively acts as another defender, hemming the fullback in. And lastly, a pressing trigger could just be a certain player receiving the ball. Perhaps the opposition team have a back three with two strong passers and one weaker one. Cutting off the other passing options for the two strong passers means the ball goes to the weaker player, and that is the trigger. That last example could also be described as a pressing trap though, because it relies on actions by the defending team that will then lead to a more effective pressing situation. A pressing trap, then, is a plan by the defending team to create conditions in the game that will facilitate a press. This could mean encouraging or forcing the ball into certain zones of the pitch or towards certain players. Examples of this might be setting up a passive block that encourages a pass into the central midfield zone, before engaging a press by surrounding a player, cutting off their options and winning back the ball. Or it could be setting up quite narrowly with the front line, blocking such central passes to encourage a pass wide before sending two players out towards the receiver who also block off options while one of the forwards goes to press the return pass option. Or it could be a press around the goalkeeper, forcing a pass towards one centre-back who is then pressured into passing quickly to another who is then pressed hard to achieve the turnover. Pressing triggers may involve a couple of phases like this, with a combination of marking passing lanes and applying light pressure to one player before rapidly moving into a wholesale press. The best teams will also know what to do once they've won the ball back, and how to transition immediately into attack. Pressing triggers are more consistent across teams. Pressing traps will vary from team to team and by opposition. But both are key to understanding how and why teams press, and therefore key to understanding a prominent part of modern football. The Athletic is in-depth sports coverage that helps fans see the...
Any feedback before we go a little bit deeper? Or have you understand? I mean, it's, yeah, thanks, Anthony. I mean, it's not rocket science. It's just, again, it's about the same word that we use for the first video. It's about discipline and communication. Because if we just have, for example, Julian pressing the goalkeeper with Amir, and we have the other players waiting, or they are like 20 meters behind it, it doesn't make sense. It will be useless. So it has to be like discipline and communication, just like, okay, go a little bit on the left, or be careful on your back, something like this, you know, like some tips like this. So it's really a useful video that I think everybody knows what is the pressing. And that's another thing that we are trying to achieve. For example, the season, hopefully in 3 weeks, when we are back on the field, with coach, we will try to stick to some exercise. In the past, as you maybe noticed, we were doing each session, it was a different exercise. I think we didn't do, since I joined High Park, we didn't do one session that was the same exercise as the other one. And this time, we will try to maybe focus on 5-10 exercises that we will do during the different session. So it will help us to improve on the 4-3-3 and the 3-5-2 techniques and the pressing for the style of play that we want to do. And another example, the last session we had, this 10 against 5 game that we had, that's something we will do a lot, because it's really help us to do this type of pressing and to move together. Because as you notice, when we had 2 or 3 players just pressing one side of the field, and we had 1 or 2 players waiting on the other side, it was useless, because the other 3, they were the 3 players, they were like running on the left, on the right, and after 5 minutes they were like tired because what they were doing, it wasn't as a group, it was just between individuals. So that's really this type of exercise that we want to now to really want to move ahead. 5-10 exercise, and we do them the Tuesday and the Thursday just to make sure that when we have a game the Saturday night, we are ready to rock. Anything, Coach Carl?
Well, I would say two things. First, guys, how much skill or soccer talent or fancy footwork is needed to do a press? Zero. I mean, it's communication and fitness.
There's a bit of positioning involved. But
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there's some brains involved, but some fitness and communication, and these two things are, Coach Rod just keeps talking about constantly. So that's a big part of the philosophy of play for the team. And the other thing I would say is, or ask, is pressing is great, isn't it? Like, but what do teams do that don't press? What's another option that a team can do when they lose possession?
You can hold a line somewhere as far back as you want. Like you hold all your players there and wait for them to come to you before trying to get it back.
Right, kind of parking the bus kind of thing, right? Like fall back into formation, as they say.
Yeah, just like a regroup.
Yes, exactly. And that's great. And once in a while, Coach Rod may employ that in a particular game against a particular opposition. Let's say, I've seen teams play TFC Academy, U14, U15. It's going to be hard to press them. You might be better off falling back into formation, right? So, I mean, there are different things you can employ based on the opposition, but basically, we got to learn to press. That's the most tiring, but also takes the communication. And at the level that Coach Rod's coaching you guys at, I think that really does tend to work. So I keep that in mind. This is for everybody. It just depends on how hard you want to work.
Yeah, and again, like they mentioned on the video, it's the cardio, like physically and mentally. That's the reason why we are trying to have you like on different exercise that demand this type of I will say skills, or maybe it's not a skill, but just to have a cardio, it's already like 50% of the work, because even if you lose the ball with the cardio, you can come back easily and try to take back the ball. So that's the reason why we really want to move on and make sure that everybody is on the same page and work hard on the cardio, not just to have the right skills on the field. Any feedback like we had for the first video? Brainstorming?
Just a quick thing.
What?
When they say about mentally, like, why do you need mentally to press? Like, what's the mental part about pressing?
Like, I mean, when they are talking about this on the video, I mean, it's because, mentally it takes a lot too. You have to run and you don't have the ball directly, and it's not just one time on the game. Every time they have the ball, you have to press. Every time it's the same. So when you work on the physical part, it will reach the mental part too, because it's not easy to do this. Like every time, here we go again, you have to press, not just one time. You saw it, the exercise we did at the last session, 10 against 5. It's a really demanding exercise. And we did it like for what, 20 minutes, maybe 15 minutes. So imagine a game, but you're lucky for the winter season, we have two period of 25 minutes, but come back to the summer, 90 minutes plus additional time during the summer when it's really hot. That's a lot.
Also, if Jack is pressing their goalkeeper, then Liam, who is 60 meters away, also has to press their striker, right? So it's constantly mentally you have to be engaged, because what's that goalie going to do when pressed? He's going to kick it up to the striker. Well, if Liam's not pressing the striker, then they're going to attack. So that's what I think the mentally means, that all 11 people have to be engaged on the team.
And also, like at the end of the game, like in the winter it's 50 minutes, but like in the summer it's really hot and they're 90-minute games. And after like 85 minutes, you still have to be able to press so you don't lose the game at the very end.
Yeah.
So that's also a bit of mental strength to be able to keep going for like the last 5 minutes, even when
Yeah.
you're really tired.
Yeah, to do this extra mile.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah, good point. Any feedback? Who we didn't hear a lot? McKinnon, we didn't hear you a lot. Who else, coach? We didn't hear so much tonight.
I know McKenna usually has something to say.
Yeah, that's
Well, I mean,
that's
I feel
maybe
like
that's
a
a
lot
new
of-
resolution.
I feel like a lot of the points that I would have brought up have already been said. Like, I think that the main issue we have is getting from the midfield to like the attacking, like wingers and striker. So I think that's just something we need to work on. But also, like, I also feel like maybe we didn't show it that much in the last game, but I feel like we have improved on our pressing. Like we used to have the striker press, and then the wingers wouldn't help that much, and not everyone would move up. But I feel like we've worked on that a decent amount, and it's gotten better. But yeah, other than that, I don't really have much of that to add.
Yeah.
Yeah, good. Thank you.
Yeah. Anybody else that we didn't hear since the beginning of this online session?
No, it's okay. I think everyone's spoken. Let's move on to the next one because I know it's close to 9 now. So
yeah.
And,
just we wanted to show you again this triangle. You know, that's the type of 4-3-3 that we really want to have. So, for example, let me take the laser point, and then coach, you can add something. We worked on this type of tactic after the last game. I did a brainstorming with Kevin, and this type of like Christmas tree, as we mentioned with Coach Kyle, it's something that, for example, a coach has Carlo Ancelotti when he was coaching Paris Saint-Germain in France a few years ago. He did. So we have this type of 4-3-3. And you can see the defensive midfielder, he has this connection, this direct connection with the number 4 and 5. So the central back, the right fullback and left fullback, and the right winger, left winger, they are on the same line as the. So for example, on the right side, we have, for example, Lucas is on the same line as the right wing. So for example, it will be with Jack, Julian, for example. So they have this connection, and everybody try to create this like a triangle between each other. And the goalkeeper for me is really important. And that's something that I saw during the last game that was really good. I saw Whitby the last game. First, they scored because there was a miscommunication between our teammates. So that's fine. But every time they had the ball, they just kick it out, or they were playing with the player that has like this type of what do you call it, a coach, like he had the number 13, I remember, I think. But that's it. What I like is that on our side, even Jad, it was his first game. He didn't have so many training sessions with us building from the back. But every time we try to play on the left or right side, and we build from the back, and most of the time it worked. We were not so like I will say lost, and that's good, because this type of strategy we didn't work a lot since the beginning of the winter season. So we really have to keep building on this momentum, and that was really good compared to the other teams. That it will take time. Like the video you saw it, the first video, it said that the 4-3-3, it's really something that is really demanding and takes time to understand. But the time and the game, we will know how to play the 4-3-3 at 100%. I think no other team in this league they will beat us, or if they beat us, it's because, I don't know, we kicked, we shoot 10 times on the post, or we were unlucky. It can happen sometimes, but otherwise, I think this type of strategy, it will work. But of course, it takes discipline, teamwork, and really like this type of strategy that between each block, defense, midfielder, and attack is really narrowed. So if we lose the ball directly, we have 2-3 players like we were playing with this training game, the 10 against 5 players at the last session. That's something that really helps us. Any feedback, or coach, you wanted to add something?
Yeah, I'll just add, this is, guys, this is why we do those mind-numbingly boring passing exercises, because that's what creates these triangles. Boom, boom, boom. Pass and move, pass and move. Go around
Yeah.
the circle, and coach is yelling at you. Guys, my grandmother in
I never
Belgium
yell.
do this better, you know.
Yeah.
Like
The
just
other
go
thing I
around.
keep a lot and will stay, I think it's like a church. I think we still have to work on it looks like a church. I think, guys, that's another thing about communication. But you know, it's the day that I don't have to say it looks like a church. I mean, I think we will be the champion. Everybody will be set in stone, and I will be like on the chair with Coach Cal, just taking the GoPro and recording the games, I guess. So,
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the reason why some of the game we are like trying to have. I know some coach, they don't like it, but you know, this variation, or this this variation saying 2 touches, it's just to train you to have the ball, control the ball, pass the ball, because sometimes we want to control, try to understand what is going on, and in the same time the other team is like recovering, and they can pressure us. So that's the reason why I'm saying like control, pass, it's the same. So control the right fullback, pass to the central midfielder that is waiting or is coming to you, and the right wing comes lower and take back the ball. And it, you know, you work like a block. You move like a block, and that's really something that we are working on it, and will take time. But again, that's the strategy that we have with the 4-3-3. Any other thing? Feedback? Nothing? No feedback?
Guys, the question is going to be, we learned about pressing. That's great. What about when we play a team that presses us? What do we do then? If we think our crap doesn't stink, you know, pressing, how do we get out of the press? Well, this is how. The one touch, two touch, building triangles. And as you can see, even in the video that Coach Rod showed before, there are triangles there ready for the taking. But the decision making has to be super fast. So that's why we do those drills in practice. But that's how you get out of the press.
Yeah. Any other feedback from the team?
Maybe we can also try to work more on the decision making, like have like quicker decision making, like even like more drills related to like I don't know, but like more decision making drills.
Yeah.
Game situations,
Sorry, Connor?
like game situations.
Yeah,
Or
so
like you
like,
have
like for
pressing.
example, like, oh sorry.
No, it's fine. Like if you have people pressing you, because I know that we kind of get I don't know what to call it, but we get like pressed really hard in the games, and
Yeah.
we don't really handle it like we do in the practices. And I think we have to have the mindset where if we play in the practice, we play the same in the game. So yeah.
Yeah. Or even like, for example, like when we do the like maybe like more quicker decision making. For example, like you have the ball and you're getting pressure by like 2 people and gotta do a pass, or like, because I feel like most of the time we play much slower during the practice than during the games. The game is so much faster than like most of the time during the practice is a bit slower than during the game. So we try to practice decision making.
I think that also just comes with like confidence and like playing a lot. You'll just get better naturally at when you're confident, you just sort of know what you're gonna do and you just stick to it.
Yeah.
And that's
So
just
like,
really important.
Yeah.
So it's like getting yourself confident, and sometimes drills are important for that, but also, you know, just
And communication, you know, when you have before the ball is coming to you and you already have somebody saying like man on, or it's coming, you know that because you have discipline and the other players, they are next to you, and you play like a triangle or you play whatever you want, but you already know what's the next move. You're not like, okay, I will receive the ball, I will control it, I will maybe check behind me, or I will maybe play in the back. No, it's directly, okay, I'm Vincent. Okay, I'm here. Maybe Bim, I play again with Jacob, or I play with Alex, for example. And you already know before you have the ball. So this scanning exercise and game situation, yeah, no, for sure, we have to continue to work on it, for sure. Yeah, good. Rotation. This, in any case, I will send you the presentation. So this is something we already talked in the first video about what we can do, how we can rotate in 4-3-3. You know, like the number 6 can drop between the central back. In the same time, the fullback, they can overlap and be on the offensive side. It's really about like discipline and communication. That's really, that's not like a rocket science. It's really easy, but just to work on these two aspects, that's something that we have to continue. But it's just another example on how you can rotate in a 4-3-3. I will send you in any case the video, the recording of tonight, and the videos that you have on the that I added to this presentation. You can just go to YouTube and you type TIFO, TIFO, and you have so many videos about how to play in 4-3-3, the false 9 that Anthony talked about it. I will put, if you can put it in the chat, just coach, in the same time that I'm finishing the presentation on the chat, the YouTube link of the TIFO channel.
Yep, we'll do.
You'll find it. Yeah. Just 3 scenarios that I wanted to show you shortly. There are 3 video clips that they are really short, but just to show you, for example, the pressing that we achieved on some games. So the first 2, it's about, I think it was the White Sharks, and the last video there, it's the last game against Whitby. It's really short, but just to show you the pressing that we were doing during the games. You can see we have the 2 strikers, and that's almost the goal from Julian to win 3-2 against it was Olympic Sharks, sorry, Olympic Flame. So as you can see, we were just pressing as a block, and you see the situation that we had, almost a goal. So that's really something that we have to continue to achieve. Another one, second one, they try to start from the back. Directly, we have I think it's Julian, and we have Connor on the left side that closed the line. So as you can see, they already lost it, and we have already transitioning into an attack. And the last one, it's, sorry for the quality, it's just one aspect. So it's starting from their goalkeeper, and we are pretty high on the field, and he will lose it directly because I think Connor or somebody, we have 2 players directly like pressing on the right side. And as you can see, we are transitioning directly into an attack after he didn't make it through. But just to show you on some different aspect that we already doing some pressure styles on different games. So we have to continue on this. Of course, the last game it wasn't the greatest one, but I know we have the skills. We just have to work on this. Coach, do you want to add something, or maybe any player regarding the last game?
I think when you said Connor, I think you meant Declan, but they're both nice Irish names. Yeah.
Any feedback, or we can finish with the last slide?
Yeah, let's finish. Yeah.
Just a quote from Johan Cruyff that you saw in the first video: quality without result is pointless. I think we have a pretty great group. We have in each position, we have quality. We have to work, we have to polish this diamond. But I know we didn't play against each team of this group. But for what I saw at this moment, especially after a few days when I watched again the games we had, even the last one against Whitby, like I mentioned, it's a miscommunication. The goal they did, I wasn't there, so Kevin did what he did. He didn't know the team, so he had to adjust. So many things that happened during this game, but for what I saw, that was like the best team. They are still the best team. They are number 1st and undefeated with 4 victories. But I mean, I think for what I saw, and Coach Cal, correct me if I'm wrong, I think we have the quality to finish top 2, top 3 for sure. And as I mentioned, guys, it's up to you regarding the summer season. If we want to go to this better division in the summer, we have to show something in this winter season. And for these guys, the Christmas that came, for the training session, we will come back with the club. We invested in some material. So we will come back with a new GoPro, the Hero 9. So it will be a better quality for the training session. We will have a wide angle, a better HD quality. I will do it maybe just to impress, Coach Cal and the other team. We can have the iPad and we can really watch the game in the same time on the iPad. And we will have this GoPro on a tripod of 4 meters. So we will really have a perfect view of the field. We will see everything. And to finish, and we were talking about scanning exercise and everything, we invested on Blaze Pod. So it's a small pod you can check online, for example. Not so many clubs have them. It's brand new. And it's really to work on the colors, and it works with an app. So we can really work on different type of scanning exercise, game situation with it. So hopefully end of January, we can bring this instrument into life with you guys. But just to show you that the club and the staff is really supporting you guys, because we know that you have the quality to go higher. But we can have, like I showed you the last time with this picture of a Sherpa, is setting up the road to climb the Everest mount and everything, but it's up to you guys. We can have the best training session. We can have the best material next to you. You're the decision maker at the end. So that's really important. And to finalize, we will have the first session, the fitness session, Thursday night. I think it's same time, correct, Coach?
Yeah, 8:15, guys. I will email and chat you guys tomorrow. But that's Shoma's mom. That's my wife Beatrix. She's a professional fitness instructor, and basically it'll be a 25-minute session. We'll do some cardio and some strength and conditioning, Pilates kind of stuff. You'll need a yoga mat or Pilates mat or a beach towel or something, and probably a 2 or 3 pound weight. It doesn't have to be heavy, but I will send around the information, and you just wear shorts and you can be in your living room or anything. Most everybody's camera is working, and that's good. And after we're done, everybody will get a drink of water or whatever and sit down, and we'll do some more, a little more chat to get you through the session. But that's coming up on Thursday at 8:15.
Yeah. Try to have your camera on for Thursday, especially for this type of fitness, just to make sure you're doing the right movement.
She will correct you. Don't worry.
And if you don't have weights, you can take like a bottle of water. That you
or bananas. A lot of bananas. Gatorade and bananas.
If you have bananas for the weight, guys, you're sure to start the next game. I want to see some bananas on the webcam Thursday night. That's a big point. Thank you, Coach, for this detail. Yeah, bring your bananas Thursday for the weight, and to have some energy before, after the session. Any feedback, question before we wrap up this first online session? I know Coach so he sent on the chat section the link for the TIFO YouTube channel. But any concern or question that you may have? No question, nothing?
You guys did great with the participation. And I can assure you, not many teams in our division, and also not many teams in the club itself, but mostly I'm talking about some other clubs, they're not doing this. And this is an advantage for the team. So have fun at school tomorrow, whatever you're doing online, and we'll see you back on Thursday.
Yeah. Okay, guys. We almost have everybody. That's good.
Lucas Cho sleeping. Bedtime, Lucas.
Let me see Lucas Cho.
You guys
It's-
look much more.
Yeah,
awake.
what we can do, coach, is that we find a haircut
Yeah.
for in 1 month, and we bring everybody.
All these guys
Maybe
need a
maybe
haircut.
yeah. Maybe Andrew is pretty good. Andrew is pretty good.
Andrew looks
Thomas
like an
is pretty good too.
Yeah,
Thomas is pretty good too.
Jack is
Yes.
embarrassed, and Alex is embarrassed to show us their hair.
Of course, we have some people without the webcam, so we can't judge. But otherwise, it's good. Everybody has the smile, so that's good to see.
Okay, guys.
Guys, stay safe. See you Thursday night in shape, and stay safe. That's the most important.
All right. Thank you, coach.
Good night.
Bye,
Have a
everybody.
good night.
Bye, coach.
Thanks,
Yeah.
coach.
Yeah.
Thanks, coach.
Yeah, bye,
Bye,
coach.
guys. Bye.